Battle of Kyiv: How Ukraine Humiliated Russia's Military Might. February 24, 2022. The world watched in disbelief as Russian forces launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Kyiv, Ukraine's capital, was expected to fall within 72 hours. But what happened next, no one saw coming. A nation outgunned, outnumbered, and surrounded stood its ground. And the mighty Russian war machine, humiliated. The Battle of Kyiv, Russia's greatest military blunder. Vladimir Putin's generals had a bold plan, a lightning-fast decapitation strike. Russian elite paratroopers would seize Hostomel Airport, secure an air bridge, and flood Kyiv with troops. Within days, the Ukrainian government would be toppled, and Volodymyr Zelensky would either flee or be captured. Russia expected this to be a walk in the park. After all, they had one of the world's most powerful armies, with superior firepower, cutting-edge weapons, and decades of military experience. But there was just one tiny problem. The Ukrainians weren't running, they were preparing for a bloodbath. The first sign of disaster for Russia came at Hostomel Airport. Russia sent its elite VDV paratroopers to take the airport, but instead of a swift victory, they walked into a death trap. Ukrainian defenders unleashed a storm of bullets and rockets, taking down Russian helicopters mid-air. One by one, Russia's prized attack helicopters crashed and burned. The Ukrainian military, outnumbered and fighting with sheer willpower, pushed back an entire Russian assault force in what should have been an easy victory for Moscow. How does a superpower lose its elite troops in the first 24 hours of battle? That was just the beginning of Russia's nightmare. As Russian tanks rolled toward Kyiv, something unexpected happened. They stopped moving. The massive 40-mile convoy meant to crush Ukraine got stuck in a logistical disaster. No fuel, no supplies, no reinforcements, and then, the ambushes began. Ukraine turned every street, every bridge, every forest into a kill zone. Russian tanks weren't just destroyed, they were hunted. Ukrainian forces used Javelins, NLAWs, and Bayraktar drones to devastating effect. Russian convoys were ambushed, obliterated, and left burning on the roads. Moscow's dream of a swift invasion turned into a logistical and tactical nightmare. And then came the ghost of Kyiv. A mysterious Ukrainian pilot allegedly took to the skies, shooting down multiple Russian fighter jets in dogfights. Was it real? Was it propaganda? No one could confirm, but one thing was clear. Russia had lost control of Ukraine's skies. For a country that claimed to have air superiority, losing fighter jets to an outgunned Ukrainian air force was beyond humiliating. And then came the biggest surprise. The civilians fought back. Men, women, even the elderly, armed with rifles, Molotov cocktails, and sheer defiance. Russia wasn't just fighting a military, it was fighting an entire nation. And while Russia's leader hid behind a 30-foot-long table, Ukraine's leader walked through the streets of Kyiv declaring, "I'm staying, we are all here." What happened to that unstoppable Russian military machine? It was bleeding out, retreating, humiliated. By early April, Russia's dream of capturing Kyiv was dead. They fled. What was meant to be a quick takeover turned into a military disaster of historic proportions. Russian troops left behind destroyed vehicles, abandoned weapons, and thousands of dead soldiers. But they didn't just retreat, they left behind a horror show. As Ukrainian forces reclaimed territory, they uncovered mass graves, evidence of war crimes, and unimaginable atrocities. The Battle of Kyiv wasn't just a Ukrainian victory, it was one of the greatest military upsets of modern history. Russia's failure exposed its weaknesses, its corruption, and its overconfidence. And now the world asks, if Russia couldn't even take Kyiv, how will it ever win this war? Do you think Russia's military is truly a superpower? Or was it all just propaganda? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe for more explosive war breakdowns.